past, fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful laws and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Dorzaya, or if you do want to give him his former name, Izuku. Now, Dorzaya, he has just spent the night in the castle for the city capital. And Midoriya, he did discover a few things. He was treated as a guest here. However, he was not treated as a friend. Now, Midoriya knows for a fact, using his advanced sense of hearing, that there are conversations everywhere. There are soldiers everywhere following him, and anytime he hears a footstep, it's at least within 100 feet of him. Midoriya, he knew from the very start that all eyes were on him. And the only time that would really be safe to talk would be whenever guards, they had heavy patrols around every single corner. Midoriya going to see his allies for the night. Now, you do then have Midoriya, he did offer up ideas as to what they could do. It has come to Midoriya's attention that Princess Atoria, she has been mind-controlled by her father. And Midoriya, he knows for a fact that girl is scared. She's lived in a nation where slavery, it was never really seen as a big deal to a noble. However, she's only been on the side of it where it's not bad. She's been the one holding the leash. However, right now, she's the one that is wearing the collar. Now, she did then slip Midoriya a piece of paper, right before he did leave out on his adventure. Now, we do then pick up with Midoriya. A few hours later, he's already read the note that he was given to him. And he did have to make a quick little stop outside of town. Now, you do have where Midoriya and his allies, Lee, Bell, and, well, Ray, they all do pop up on the front lines, as we do currently have at the Allied base, where the Prince, I don't have a picture for him right now, but I'll find one later, he is currently, at least, being serviced by his attendants, them helping him create battle strategies and plans, along with at least helping to take care of his meal plans and many other things, getting him water, and even, if need be, treating the injured. Now, we do have Midoriya, he does actually go to walk into the tent where people are planning for war strategies. Midoriya, him walking in as he's wearing his regular garments, what would be considered to be a wolf pelt along with a set of leather bracers and his pants. As the men, they do all mistake Midoriya for a demi-human, as he does actually go to bring his hand up and grab his hood, pulling it off to reveal his face. Many of them staring directly at Midoriya, asking exactly what a filthy adventurer is doing here. I'm not just your ordinary run-of-the-mill adventurer. Midoriya is saying the prince's name, and him then talking about how he's the hero. The hero? Preposterous. Along with that, there's those markings on your face. Those are, what is it, dragon killer markings? You've made a disgrace and a mockery of this entire meeting. Now please leave. You are dismissed. I see that hasn't convinced you. What are you to say? I'm going to say that he does have at least a little thing out here that can demonstrate his legitimacy. Now, the men they all do come to walk outside. As you do, however, the prince, he does have a smug look on his face. The hero is just a myth. He's a child's fairy tale. That is a decapitated wyvern head right outside of his tent. But this is impossible. This has to be an illusion. This has to be a fake. The prince does say. Roya telling him that 2 days ago their capital was attacked. And 2 days ago, he killed this thing. This is insane. Wait, so does that mean your claim is true? Roya looking directly at the prince, saying that along with that, he's come here to fight and end this silly little war in exchange for a few things back home. Back home? Are you a part of an allied nation? I didn't know we had allies on our side. No. Back home as in back in the capital. I plan to make my home there if everything goes great. Yes, sir, but now, we do have the level 200 adventure that most people see as the commanding officer of the entire front row battle strategies. The prince, he is in charge of planning, yes. However, execution is this man's forte, his bread and butter. And the reason why he's the strongest in the kingdom. Now, the man would directly walk up to Midoriya, and he does evaluate the boy. His arms are covered in scars. Clearly he's a trained warrior. And there's the fact that he apparently took out a wyvern. Not even he was capable of such feats whenever he was looking, or at least back at home. Many people avoided the area this thing was seen around. However, it began to start moving closer and closer to populated areas. Or no, that's a mistake. People started to move closer and closer to wyvern caves. Now, he does look at Midoriya, as he does bring his hand up and go to slash at him with a weapon. Midoriya actually moving out of the way as he does step backwards. As he does so, he actually does then go to counter the downward swing this man did send out. Midoriya bringing his hand up, he does draw his own blade, and directly go to slice the blade, or at least counter it with his own, as he does then slide it down to the left using just pure strength and moving his right side of the blade up. Now, everyone does watch that, as you do have the commander, who he does stare down at all at the fact that Midoriya, he just, evaded or, parried an attack from a giant one-handed axe. Now, Midoriya, he does then at least stand there with the blade still in the air the same way it is, asking if he's proven himself. That's impressive. Many opponents would have their weapons break, along with that blade. That's from the Holy Church, is it not? Keen eyes. Midoriya holding up the blade and proclaiming that this is the Sword of Darkness, the only weapon that can defeat the Demon Lord. Now, many people, they're confused and surprised. That can't be right. How is that possible? No normal human can wield that blade. Many people muttering to themselves. Midoriya loudly announcing with the power of his voice that it takes a weapon made by the Demon Lord himself to kill a Demon Lord. Now, many people, they don't look too much into that logic. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So the hero is wielding the Sword of Darkness. That's good? Question mark? Now, Midoriya, he does then go to look back at the commander, asking exactly what their strategies are and where their opponents are. Midoriya breaking down everything the commander has already laid out, as he does go to walk back into the tent. The prince following Midoriya as he does try to ask him a question. How did he defeat the wyvern? What are you talking about? Your rank. You're level 70. Are you not? 72. Yes, exactly. The wyvern, it is. Well, these creatures, they're at least above level 80, are they not? Hmm. You at least know you're something level 15. Level 15? Has no one ever told you your rank? No, they have not. Many of my men look up to me with respect. Hmm. Well, they should be looking down. They're taking orders from a man weaker than you, or weaker than them. Your commander, though, however, he is admirable. You fight and sit here on your ass, making plans, do you not? While he executes them and is the one who is in charge. You're the second in command with his balls in his purse, aren't you? Now, everyone does stare at Midoriya. And you even have the level 200 who he does burst out laughing. As everyone they do begin to at least somewhat laugh. The prince, he has no idea what Midoriya just said. However, he does take it as an insult. Now, we do then have later that night. Everyone, they are getting ready. And they plan to make their attack the next morning. Now, Midoriya, he actually is currently in the forest. And he is walking around. He got stuck on a nightly patrol. Apparently, he hurt the prince's little ego, so the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. However, there's just one thing he doesn't like about the prince. Atoria, she doesn't have slaves. As far as he does know, her servants are human. Along with that, there's the fact that she treats them with respect. He saw that. Whatever type of control she's under, she treats her servants with respect. Well, this man, he abuses the power he's been given. He literally had one of them go to wash his dirty laundry while they were in the middle of a war conference. Even then, it was just so disgusting. Now, we do actually have where Midoriya, he is walking around. Him encountering Lee. Now, Midoriya and Lee, they do both begin to make patrol together. And Lee does ask her, Master, exactly what rank is he now? 72. If all goes well tomorrow, then I should be hitting the low 90s. Sir, wouldn't that mean that you kill so many? Yes, it would. Do you have a problem with that? No, it's just I don't. Lee, you followed me to the front lines of a battlefield, knowing full well you'd be taking the lives of your own species and other demi-human races. Yes, I did, sir. Just this once, I'll allow you to call me master. But I thought that. Let me finish. You knew for a fact that these people, some of them could have been your neighbors, some of them could have been your family, some of them could be friends of yours, and you're gonna have to strike them down in combat. You knew that for a fact, but you followed me out here. So, I'll at least try and tell you my plan. I'm gonna try and slaughter them as fast as I can. Hopefully we encounter overwhelming numbers. I've read reports. They have giants. They have lizard folk. They have, well, a lot of other races. Even orcs. All of them have banded together against humanity. And that itself told me a lot about this world. We're a virus. We're well, versatile. We survive everything. Extinctions. We just come out stronger. More magic, more power, more greed. It's all the same. Other species, they banded together against one. That says a lot, doesn't it? Master. So, if need be, I will take on my dragon form. Whenever you see me, you run right into demi-human territory. Abandon the battle and retreat that direction. Do you understand? Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir. You and Bell and Ray, all of you run. Now, Midoriya he would say that, as he does go to try and at least practice his shape-shifting magic. Now, Midoriya he does try it. Midoriya successfully making a paw out of his hand, as he does hold it up, asking how'd he do. Sir, you're getting better at that, but still, there's a bit of a problem. Now, she would hold up her hand, saying that that demi-human hand is of a different species. This is one more fitting of her own that looks somewhat humanoid. Now, Lee she does give Midoriya permission to inspect her hand as he does look over it and inspect it. Okay, he does sort of get it. Midoriya he does stare at it intensely and analyze it. Okay, so it's more like a human's hand, but it's at least at the same time more slender, more sleeker and more flexible. Along that it has a wider range of movements, and the tendons in it do seem to be made of a slightly different material from human. It still is flesh, bone, and blood, but the tendons were made to be stronger and have more striking power. Now, Midoriya he does actually try to mix his dragon form claws with the claws he does try to make for her species, as he does show her them. Now, she does look at Midoriya a little bit more impressed, saying, Master is actually getting very good at that. Are you determined to squeeze as many of those as you can into this moment? So you already caught on. Yeah, I kinda was. But still, thanks for what you said. Yeah. Belle was concerned about it too. She didn't know whether we'd have to kill. You're still below level 30. You shouldn't even be fighting here. You should still be grinding for levels. And Belle, she's not a fighter. That magic stone I gave her, it does increase magic, and at least give her a boost to her power. But at the same time, it's also going to be a crutch as she loses it. A crutch? Think about it. In the chaos of battle, if that thing flies off of her neck, she loses access to high-level magic spells. For fire. So, exactly what happens then? While she's trying to fight with what she has, she'll be struck down immediately. And die. Sir, have you thought this through? Yep. Every waking moment in my nightmares. Now, Lee should just stare at Midoriya. The fact that he's speaking so calmly is what frightens her. This man usually has an intense aura around him, or he speaks with an intensity that shows who he really is. However, he's so casually talking about war and death, as if he's talking to an old friend. Master? Who was the first person you ever killed? No. Midoriya, his calm demeanor does slowly go away, as he just does walk away, saying that it was somebody who didn't deserve it. Now, you do actually have the next morning, where the troops, they have all gotten ready. And we do actually have where Midoriya, he does stand there in his armor. Many different people knowing for a fact that that's the hero. Midoriya going to grab his cloak as he does put it into his inventory, and allow everyone to see who he is. As they do see exactly how battle-torn Midoriya truly is. As he does then spin around and inform everyone that today they do fight for this nation. And they all do fight as one. Everyone to their left and right are comrades, regardless of blood, creed, race, or gender. And they should all be aware of the faces to their left and to their right, because it could very well be the person who does save their lives in today's battle. Now, people they all do start to look around at each other, noticing small little things. Oh, this person they have a cut right here, this person has this over here, this person has this over here. They didn't even really think about that. However, it at least does increase their intensity. And Midoriya, he does actually look towards the forest, watching as the tree line it does slowly begin to shake and move. As, behind a giant mountain, Midoriya would see a creature climb out. Midoriya has only dealt with a giant that was 12 feet tall. However, this one that's directly in front of him, if he had to guess, that is about 9 to 10 meters tall. Now, Midoriya he does actually turn around, watching as all the men behind him, they do at least start to shake in their boots. And Midoriya he does turn back around, as he does do one simple thing. He brings up his sword, him increasing the attack potency of his sword beam, upgrading it from level 2, or let's just say level 3 to level 4, as Midoriya he does then go to bring it up. People watching Midoriya create a magic circle with his sword, before they do then watch a giant blast come out after Midoriya he does strike it. Now, everyone they would watch on, the blast shooting through the distance and directly smashing into this giant, as a loud rumbling can be heard. Now, people they do then look back towards the battlefield, as a giant cloud is forming in the distance. And you do actually have Midoriya he does then turn back down to his soldiers and order them all to charge. Now, you do have the level 200 adventurer, who would ask Midoriya exactly how or what was that attack. I don't exactly know. Call it a beam of mana or something. It's like Fireball but different. I see. That was a darkness slash. The man does think. Now, Midoriya, he does then go to take off directly into the battlefield. And many people do actually watch as he does blitz ahead, as you do have many different species who do come out of the field. And they are trying to take down Midoriya. Now, half of the enemy troops, they were shocked by that. And the other half, they ran in and were going to go down swinging. As Midoriya, he's cutting his way through packs and packs of Onis and ogres. Many of them staring at Midoriya as he does just slash through many of them and cleave through them like butter. As he does then at least see a level or a 12-foot tall giant who's around level 70. Now, Midoriya he's already reached level 75, and he does look up at the giant creature, as he does go to do one thing, bringing up his hand and casting his simple ice magic. Midoriya, as he does wave his hand, the battlefield does begin to start getting colder. The giant, as he does go to step forwards, his legs do begin to freeze, him putting all of his weight down on them as his legs do collapse like ice cubes. Midoriya then going to bring his weight upwards and slice off the giant's head. As people do, they do watch Midoriya. He's currently cutting his way and making a fortification through the battlefield. They're quite literally building their own trench line in the middle of this area, and they're completely surrounded by all sides. Men are dying left and right, human and demi-human. And Midoriya, he is watching it all. And he does at least come to somewhat of an understanding. The only language that these people seem to speak is all violence. It's all bloodshed. And Midoriya, he does at least somewhat begin to get excited, thinking about how his blade will finally get that requirement it did want. As Midoriya, he does at least begin to start taking on his partial dragon form. And many people do actually watch his giant wings begin to sprout out of Midoriya's back. And he does take off into the air. As Midoriya, he does use his sword and cleave through it with sword slashes, along with at least casting ice magic and fireball magic whenever he does, at least fly over an area, directly bombarding it with these two elements. Now, people are watching, as you do have Lee and the others. They've all been instructed as to what to do. And we do actually have Midoriya, who he does actually watches that giant thing in the distance that he did knock down. It's beginning to get back up. And Midoriya, he does see it, as he does begin to start flying high up into the air. Okay. His attacks hurt that thing, clearly, and it paralyzed it. But he needs to go straight for the kill. He told them he wouldn't do too many casualties. Plus, they know his power and his limits. If he toys around here right now, yeah, they'll notice. Midoriya immediately going to consume his mana, as it takes up 1,200 of it. And Midoriya, his duration, it has also increased. Midoriya being able to maintain this ability for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, Midoriya, he does begin to start transforming. As everyone, all of a sudden overhead, they do hear a large and booming, thunderous roar. As the wyvern, it has returned. Many of the humans, they are shocked. The hero, he was lying. And he didn't kill the wyvern, he summoned it. Now, you do have where some people, they do actually start to try and run. The level 200 adventurer directly, at least loudly exclaiming that that itself is the Dragon Slayer. He's taken on the form of the dragon to fight their enemies. And he's depleting a lot of his mana just doing so. He is the invincible wall they will fight behind. Now, Midoriya, he does rush in deeper into the battlefield, as he does flap his wings. An entire wind attack and ice attack combo just flow throughout the area. Many different warriors being frozen in their place, as they all do look like statues. And Midoriya, he does get awarded XP, as he does just hit past level 80. Midoriya flying and indirectly smashing into this giant creature, as it's holding what can be best described as a skyscraper in its arm. Now, Midoriya, as he does go to fly in and bite this creature, he does actually go to dig his claws into the wound he caused on its chest. That area has to be tender and sensitive. Midoriya then casting ice magic directly into this guy's, the bite wound Midoriya has caused. Along with that, Midoriya, he does also get ready, as the guy, he does go to try and grab Midoriya directly off of him. As it does happen, Midoriya, he does actually go to flap backwards and try and at least cover the guy's skin in ice. As Midoriya, he does begin to move, he does actually start to fly down towards the ground. And he does go for the back of the kneecaps, him slashing into it with his claws, along with covering the guy's front knees in ice. And people are watching, as Midoriya, he does then fly high up into the air, before he does completely cover the area in a giant ice fireball, as the attack does smash directly into the giant's face and cover it. As the guy does go to throw his head upwards towards the sky to try and not only find Midoriya, but to grab the ice directly covering his face, Midoriya, he does go for the kill, him coming and directly biting right into the jugular artery in its neck. As when he does so, he does also begin to start pumping ice through this thing's giant bloodstream. As the thing, it does go to bring its hands up, and it is shaking violently, as it does go to grab Midoriya directly in its hands, and try to squeeze down and crush him. As it does happen, Midoriya, he does just cast a higher level of ice magic, as the thing is frozen solid. And it does start to fall forwards. Now, you do have Midoriya, who he does quickly go to fly away, and back towards the battlefield as he does cover it in a frozen winter. Now, many demi-humans are beginning to retreat, and you do actually have where Midoriya, he does at least have over 500 mana points remaining, as he does fly towards the demi-human territory. Now, we do actually have the men who they do quickly start to advance, and this is the perfect opportunity. As Midoriya he's flying overhead, he does see all of their attacks, all the things they do have set up to ambush the human troops. Midoriya directly dropping out of his wyvern form, as he does then take on his at least half form, where he does have the wings. Midoriya dodging out of the way of the attack, as an entire group of mages they sent fireballs and elemental magic blasting and raining over the battlefield, along with even the booby-trapped forest they have had set up. Now, Midoriya he does watch as the forest is exploding, and he does currently go to look down at the forest, trying to read for any levels. Now, Midoriya he does look at as many different levels as from ranging from level 7 to level 50, they all do begin to start disappearing. And they're all at least, well, popping up and off the map. Midoriya finding a large group of levels, where it's 3 all running in unison together. Midoriya him actually flying in fast and using wind magic to speed himself up with a small little hurricane behind him. And Midoriya he does come in, and directly grabbing onto Bell and Ray. As you actually have Lee who does go to grab directly up at Midoriya's leg as the 3 do all go flying away. Now, you do actually have where Midoriya he does fly deeper into enemy territory. And eventually they all do land in a forest. Now, the landing was rough, but they'll all survive. And we do then have Midoriya, who, yeah, he's heavily exhausted. As he does talk about how that was worse than whenever he fought against that giant, 4-armed, giant. What's he talking about? Trust me, I don't think you should know. Please, she's the last person I want to know. Oh, alright. Well, that was quite impressive. Ray does say, her going to bring up her hand and cover her mouth, as she is going to walk away from Midoriya. Great. He's pretty sure she's going to obsess over him even more. Alright, Midoriya would say. I'm going to stand up, as he does then fall forwards, asking his system what's happening. His system informing him. Large amounts of damage having caused Midoriya's ribcage, spine, and, generalized torso. The wyvern form he did take on, it did absorb a lot of this damage. However, it was a physical attack rather than a magical attack. And Midoriya? Him just thinking, oh yeah. As he does fall forwards and his body does begin to start the regeneration process. This being where Bell and Lee, they do actually ask Sir or Dorzaya if he's going to be alright. Midoriya tried to inform them that he'll be fine, he just does need to at least lie still for a few minutes, he thinks. Probably at least an hour. Now, you actually have Lee who does talk about how she will go off and collect the stuff from a mana potion, or even a health potion. It should be around here. Now, she is going to start whiffing or sniffing into the air, trying to get a whiff of a certain smell, as she's going to take off that way. Now, with that being said, Midoriya he is trying to focus in his mind the exact form he needs to take on. If he's going to be using his mimic magic, he needs to make sure it's perfect. At least that there's not visible flaws in it. Along with that, there's the markings on his face. they know that they have a Dragon Slayer on that side. And if they see a Dragon Slayer that's unknown in this country, they'll assume it's him on an infiltrator mission. Fuck. Okay. What are you trying to think? As he does, think of a form in his mind. Now, you do have a Murray has to cast Mimic Magic on his own body. And we do then have a few minutes later, where at least she has come back. And she does, at least, have all the ingredients mixing as she is running. Her looking up to see her master, as she just dropped the contents of the bowl she was currently mixing, and the bowl itself. Her mouth going agape as she does see Dorzaya. Him with what appears to be a wolf's tail, wolf ears, and well, his face looks normal. Along with that, all the scars covering his torso and body have all disappeared. Sir, is that your appearance? Yeah, this one's weird, but it's easier to maintain than the cat one. Sir, what are you talking about? The cat one's tail requires strange movements to look normal. Oh, of course. Lee does say. Her somewhat blushing. Onoe he does look her way, as does inform them all that after the battle they've faced this morning, they're going to need to at least stay somewhere close by for 2 days. And they will then begin to make their way inside the nation. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.